Unfortunately, nothing is ever guaranteed. So if we're going to simulate something, we need a way to determine whether we succeed or fail. While some games will use cards, the majority of miniatures games will use dice to determine their outcomes. Today on Miniature Monday, we're going to take a look at the dice used in Deadzone and how you can use those to shoot, fight, and survive in your games. Now, as a small disclaimer, I do understand that the singular form of the word dice is die. However, in my experience, most people don't use the singular form. So if I use the plural form, don't be surprised. But also don't hate me for my grammar. Now, in Deadzone, there are two types of dice. The first is a custom D6, or six-sided die, that is used as the game's command dice. The second is a standard D8, or eight-sided die, and that's used for all other dice rolls. Now, the command dice are used to modify the game and activate your army's commander abilities. Each player starts with 3 dice in their command dice pool, but that pool can be increased by use of the tactician ability. Multiple models in the army can have the tactician ability, however, only one can be used to add to your command dice pool. That doesn't stop you from bringing other models, however, and other models can be used if the first one is eliminated. In addition, once per round, any number of command dice can be re-rolled. However, the second result stands. So, let's look at the different symbols on the command dice. Now, our first symbol here is going to allow us to activate an additional model on our activation. This can be advantageous because you can use that to take advantage of a situation that was created by the first model that you activated. It can allow you to set up an advantageous situation in following activations, or it can allow you to get your models activated faster, because if you are the first person to finish activating all of your models, you will gain the initiative and be able to go first in the next round. The next is the dice symbol. The dice symbol allows you to add an additional dice to your dice pool when making another check, such as a shoot, fight, or survive check. The next is the move, which allows you to give a model a 1 cube movement in any direction. This can be used if you need to move after you've taken all of your actions with that model. If you want to make a movement before needing to take a long action. So it can be used either before, during, or after any of your activations. Next is a shoot value. This allows you to take an extra shoot action with the current model. Just like with the move, it can be used either before, during, or after your activations. And it also allows you to make an extra shoot action. While the normal rule is that you cannot take the same action twice, spending the shoot command dice allows you to do so. Next, we have fight, which is the same as shoot, however, it is for melee combat. And then finally, we have the Mantic Splat. The Mantic Splat is what allows you to activate your army special ability. Each ability is unique to its individual commander, and the rules for that special ability will be what determines when and how you can use that command dice. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that a model can only have one move, shoot, or fight command dice used on it per activation. Now, next is just the standard D8. This is what's used for pretty much any other time you would need to roll your dice. The target number for the dice is based on the model profile. So if your shoot value is 3+, then every time you roll your 8-sided dice to shoot, you're looking to roll a 3 or higher. That number will never change. If you roll an 8 anytime you make a check, then that dice explodes, and you may roll an additional d8. If the additional dice rolls an 8, it will explode as well, and you can keep doing this until you stop rolling 8s. Now, let's look at your dice pool. Now, your dice pool is always going to start with 3 dice. And anytime you see any modifiers, then that's going to increase the number of dice that you get to roll. Now, that can either increase or decrease. And what you're rolling for is the number of successes. So you just want to see how many dice roll above the target number. In a combat, the most successes is what's going to determine the winner, and the winner will apply the results. So let's take a look at shooting. So first, we're going to check our range and visibility. We have to be able to see the target in order to declare a shoot action. Then we're going to build our dice pool. So like I said, we're going to start with 3 dice. If we happen to have a clear shot to our target, then we're going to get a 2 dice bonus. Now, a clear shot means that our model can see the entire enemy model, including its base. So, it can't be behind any battlefield terrain, it can't be behind a wall, it can't be above us. Your model has to be able to see the entire base in order to get the clear shot bonus. So keep that in mind when you're moving your models. If we are shooting into a cube that has a friendly model, then we're going to have a penalty of 2 dice. If we're shooting down from a higher level, then we will get a +1 dice bonus. And if we have a rapid fire weapon and are firing for effect, we'll also get +1 dice. Now, when a defender is determining what they get to roll, unfortunately, there are no bonuses for them. So, the defender can only survive with 3 dice. If the shooter wins, any extra successes above what the defender rolled are potential damage. If the defender wins, they take no damage and will continue to activate that model as normal. Now, the next is a fight action. In a fight action, the defender actually has 2 choices. He can either choose to fight back or survive. Now, sometimes you're going to have a better value on your fight than you do on your survive, so you'll want to fight back, but sometimes it's the opposite. With fighting, both sides, if they choose to fight, will build a dice pool. They'll start with their 3 dice. They'll get +1 dice if the model moved into the combat this round. +1 dice for any friendly models in the cube. Now this is if there are any friendly models. This is not per friendly model. +1 dice if the opponent model is injured. +1 dice if the attacking model is larger than the defending, or vice versa. Whoever's the larger model will get the bonus, basically. And +1 dice if the opponent is pinned, meaning the model is laying down. If the attacker wins, any extra successes are damage. And if the defender wins, it depends on whether they chose to fight or survive, and you'll apply the results accordingly. Now, taking damage. Models can take damage equal to their size. So that means they're going to be able to take 1 to 4 points of damage. Damage is cumulative, so any damage taken in one round will carry over into subsequent rounds. Any excess successes equals the potential damage. And when determining how much damage is done, you start by reducing any damage by the armor value of the target. The armor value is, of course, reduced by armor penetration, or AP. Any damage less than the size of the model injures it instead. And the total damage over the size means that you remove the model from the game. Now, personally, I like how the dice in Deadzone works. While it can swing heavily because of the exploding mechanic, I do like that it gives players a reason to try something that might seem impossible. There's too many times where I've seen people in games just not want to do anything because they assume that there's no way they can get a good success on the dice. So I do like that the exploding mechanic at least gives you a chance to try something, even if it's not going to happen. And while I'm not saying that Deadzone has the best dice mechanic I've used, it is well suited to Deadzone. So, I hope you found this useful. Get out there, roll some dice, and may all your dice explode. Thanks for watching.